I'm Matt McClure, and this is Currents. 1 year after the devastating earthquake, Haitians have a place to turn in the U.S. But how many of them are actually doing so?
They fear that because they're currently undocumented, they fear that after 18 months and the period for TPS is over.
We'll also take a look at the struggles of Haitians here in New York.
We face a lot of challenges. First, the situation of being without a work permit, not being able to work and provide for ourselves, dependency, uncertainty about the future. It is hard.
And we'll get the latest from a relief organization helping out on the island nation. Well, good evening. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. 1 year ago today, a massive earthquake devastated the island nation of Haiti. And for the thousands of Haitians in Brooklyn and Queens, it meant uncertainty for family back home and for their own futures. Tonight, it's a special edition of Currents devoted to Haiti 1 year later. We start off with a look at temporary protected status, or TPS, which would prevent Haitians here illegally from being deported to that country and that couldn't begin to support them really at all. In the days following the earthquake, the Department of Homeland Security offered TPS to Haitians, but even now, many of them have not applied for it. Producer Ingrid Rojas set out to discover just exactly why.
The number of Haitians applying for temporary protected status is unexpectedly low, and officials with the Catholic Migration Office are concerned about this.
And we feel that the number's low, even though we're overwhelmed by the numbers at our offices.
In an effort to do more outreach, a staff attorney with the Catholic Migration Office presented key points in the application process to social workers of Catholic charities.
Well, we've been working for the last 2 months, reaching out to a number of different parishes and making presentations and also processing people at our office in Brooklyn. As it stands now, we've only processed 200 clients. Standardly, we believe that it's a very low number.
And it's not only low in Brooklyn. Nationwide, the government estimated that 100,000 applications would be filed, but to date, there have been half as many. In New York State, home to one of the largest Haitian immigrant communities, only 7,000 applications have been received. The reasons for the low turnout vary, but to those working with the Haitian community, there is one main reason.
What we see right now is fear and lack of understanding. I think they fear that because they're currently undocumented, they fear that after 18 months and the period for TPS is over, that they will then be immediately deported. However, what we hear is that historically, countries that had been granted TPS in the past, such as Honduras, that has been extended over and over, and now it's been going for 10 years. We do not expect that the situation in Haiti would improve in 18 months to the point that it can now absorb the returning residents.
Another issue is money. It's $470 without, without an additional fee for an attorney or anything like that. That's just the government fee. That's a lot of money for people who especially don't even have work authorization.
And $470 is the individual application fee, making it costly for families in which more than one member is applying for TPS. A fee waiver is available with proof of low income, but that documentation is hard to come by for those working off the books. But many believe the benefits of TPS far outweigh the initial cost.
What are the benefits of TPS? Well, the benefits are that you can't be deported during that time. You're eligible for employment authorization. You're eligible for a travel document, and you're considered to be in lawful non-immigrant status during that time.
And with those benefits in mind, many Haitians like Valerie and her mom are applying for TPS. They asked us not to reveal their identities. Valerie is 21 and attending college at the City University of New York. She and her mom have been living illegally in Brooklyn for the last 10 years. And as soon as they heard about TPS being available, they applied.
When I found out about it, it felt like an open door. What made me decide to go for it is The ability to work. Not having your documentation in this country is very hard to find a job. And if I did find a job, it was paying off the book, and it was pretty hard because the paying was not, it doesn't pay you minimum wage, it pays you less than minimum wage. And some people take advantage of you not having your documents.
Valerie already received a work permit and a social security number, which enables her to open a bank account and to have other advantages that she's looking forward to.
Now I filed for health insurance, so I'm just waiting to hear from them if I'm qualified or if I'm not. And I'm hoping to get some type of financial aid for school, because being undocumented, if you don't have any scholarships, you have to pay off pocket, and it's pretty expensive.
Valerie knows that even though TPS is not a path to citizenship, it is an opportunity that she cannot afford to pass up. And as the deadline for applying for TPS nears, officials hope more Haitians will take part.
Well, I really hope that the Haitians who do qualify for TPS do step forward, because it really is a rare opportunity for the undocumented with the TPS, to have legal status.
We're encouraging all those that feel that they're eligible to call our office, ask questions, come down to our offices, and please call 718-236-3000.
We were able to follow up with Valerie this week, and there is good news. She was able to get TPS, and she's still living and working here in New York. And the deadline for Haitians to file for TPS has been extended one more time to January 18th. Well, there's more of this special edition of Currents coming up. When we come back, we look at the lives of some people who came to the U.S. after the earthquake. Welcome back to Currents. I'm Matt McClure. When the massive earthquake rocked Haiti 1 year ago, it sent the already poor, unstable nation into a downward spiral. Political unrest, hurricanes, and an outbreak of cholera followed. Coming up later in the show, we'll get an update from someone who was recently on the ground in Haiti. But meanwhile, the aftershocks are continuing to be felt here in New York. Some Haitians who were relocated after the quake are facing new challenges every day and new obstacles to rebuilding their lives, as we hear from producer Ingrid Rojas.
Andre Jolicoeur is on his way to the Elmont Public Library, or to his office, as he likes to call it.
May I have that book, please? Thank you very much.
Ever since he arrived in Queens after the Haitian earthquake, he uses this library as his home base. And these days, home is an elusive concept for Andre, as he has been without a home since the earthquake.
We were on the street like everybody, living in a tent city, instantly. Instantly, we were living in a tent city. We had no house.
Andre, a physician specializing in public health, lived in Port-au-Prince with his wife and 11-year-old daughter. 5 days after the earthquake, he and his daughter, a U.S.-born citizen, were airlifted to Orlando. They later arrived at a family friend's house in Elmont, Queens, which has been hosting them since.
Unfortunately, it was not possible to evacuate her with both parents. So I came here with her. My wife stayed 2 or 3 more days before being evacuated over to Canada.
And the family separation is just one of their problems. Andrew arrived in the U.S. on a tourist visa, which means that he can't legally work. And to make matters worse, his visa is about to expire.
We face a lot of challenges. First, the situation of being without a work permit, not being able to work and provide for ourselves, dependency, uncertainty about the future. It is hard to not know what will happen to you in a few days or next month.
And Andre is hardly alone in this situation. Like him, there are thousands of Haitians who have arrived on tourist visas. For many, it was a quick way out of a devastated Haiti, but it has evolved into a whole new set of problems.
You find yourself in limbo. You have a tourist visa and you cannot convert it to anything that you want.
Okay, Andre, do me a favor. Sign and pass it down, please.
Every Friday, Andre attends a support group for earthquake survivors run by Catholic Charities. Today's lesson is subway survival. Since the group started back in February, about 80 people have come seeking their services.
Of the people who come to the support group, their circumstances are dire. Primarily, they're coming and they're staying with friends or families, but after a very short period of time, the honeymoon is over, and they have to find alternate living arrangements. They're all coming in as visitors, which means they're not allowed to work. So if they're not authorized to work, they have no means of supporting themselves. Some who have American-born children are entitled to WIC, food stamps, public assistance. But if you're a single individual and you have no children, you basically have no means of financial support.
And unlike Haitians who were in the U.S. before January 12th and got temporary protected status, this group of people who were directly impacted by the earthquake is hardly getting any aid.
This population is definitely vulnerable to kind of slipping through the cracks.
Krista Stewart is the manager of the Newcomer Transition Unit working on site at New York's Haitian Earthquake Family Resource Center at the Bedford Armory. Since the center opened in February, they have seen an increase in Haitians arriving on tourist visas.
You know, a lot of attention, of course, and rightfully so, is paid right to Haiti, where there needs to be infrastructure developed, as well as the population here that's also helping to support them and that needed to come out of the shadows. However, this group really does remain very vulnerable.
No doubt the situation is difficult for Andre and others like him. But thanks to the support group, he's been able to not only share experiences with others in the same situation, but he's also been able to walk away with groceries, clothing, and a full belly. Despite all he's been through, Andre is thankful for all the help he's received. However, charity only goes so far.
Do I think that the American government has done something for me? There is no question about it. We are fortunate, and we are fortunate because we were airlifted by the American military from Haiti. But I think there were something also to be done for people who came after the earthquake and who find themselves in a situation where there is no way forward, there is no way backward. And something should be contemplated for those people as well.
Well, we have much more about the situation in Haiti and some ways that you can help over on our website. Just go to currentsny.net. Stay with us. Coming up next, we'll hear from Catholic Relief Services about how Haitians are coping there after the earthquake. Welcome back. Well, just this week, the American Red Cross announced that it is still providing food and clean water to over 100,000 people in Haiti every day. This as thousands of Haitians continue to live under tarps or out in the open with little real shelter or place to call home. The need for help in Haiti remains urgent, especially with the continuing threat of diseases like cholera. And joining me now to talk more about the ongoing relief efforts in the island nation is Tom Price. He's with Catholic Relief Services. He spent a month in Haiti last year and joins us now by phone from Baltimore. Tom, thanks so much for joining us here today. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, first of all, update us, if you will. Give us kind of the view of what it's like in Haiti now. What is CRS seeing?
Well, like you said, there is more than 1 million people still in tents and under tarps. Those makeshift camps that sprang up after the quake are still there. The city of Port-au-Prince is still strewn with rubble. And, you know, this is unacceptable. And cholera has also shaken Haiti now as well. So Catholic Relief Services and other agencies like ourselves, together with the local church, you know, we're trying to halt the stem of cholera. We're also supporting people in the camps. But there are, within that rather grim picture, there are smaller success stories because people alongside the Haitians are working hard to try and make conditions as tolerable as possible.
Well, 1 year later, I mean, you know, of course, as you say, there are those signs of progress, there are those signs of hope here and there, but overall it doesn't seem like really enough progress has been made. What is impeding that process? I mean, it's of course a lot of things have happened. The outbreak of cholera, as we mentioned, the you know, earthquakes and I mean not the earthquake itself, hurricanes as well, and other things have kind of come in. Is it all just kind of creating a perfect storm to prevent Any more progress from being made?
Well, that certainly does add to it. The other issue is really land and the nature of poverty in Haiti itself. You know, it's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and it was completely devastated, Port-au-Prince. It's a very vertical city. You know, people were living in 3- or 4-story and taller apartment blocks, which collapsed. These were already slum conditions. You know, 70% of Port-au-Prince residents were renters in often, you know, very poor conditions. They didn't have proof of ownership. So when you're looking at where do these million-plus people go now, the big question is, where do we put them? Where do you open up the land? If you take the people back to their neighborhoods, you know, they don't have the legal documents in hand to say, this was my house. You know, even if they had it or it was buried under the rubble, the government offices where these documents might have been have collapsed. You know, you would look to the government for leadership here, but the government itself was devastated with half of its buildings collapsing. I believe a third of the civil service was killed. So the challenge has been absolutely enormous, and it's only something that was really clear to me when I came down there and just seen how everything had been decimated from the top down.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, not a good thing. And, you know, a year on, I mean, after it first happened, there was just this outpouring of support for the people of Haiti from all around the world. Has the world now, a year on, kind of forgotten about or lost sight of the situation there, you think?
I'm encouraged that there has been an interest here and progress in the 1 year, and we need to keep that up. People need to stay together with Haiti and Haitians to make sure that change follows through. We need to work with Haitians to make sure that when the next disaster comes along, because we all know another hurricane will hit, God forbid there's another earthquake, but we need to make sure that the buildings that we build back are going to be stronger. They're going to be earthquake and hurricane resistant, that we put in place building codes, etc. And that's something that the local Catholic Church in Haiti has already started to do. So where we can, we're pushing ahead as fast and in an efficient manner and as best we can.
Well, Catholic Relief Service is obviously doing a lot of good work, not only in Haiti, but elsewhere. How can our viewers help if they would like to?
Well, we're not actively soliciting donations, but if people still do want to help, you can go to our website, which is crs.org, and there are a lot of information there on how the money has been spent so far. Or if you haven't got access to the web, you can call us at 877-435-7277.
All right. Well, Tom Price with Catholic Relief Services, thank you so much for your time today, sir. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for speaking to me.
Thanks. Well, there's more currents coming up. When we come back, a story of survival. Well, finally tonight, amidst the rubble in Haiti, there was a tiny miracle. A beautiful baby girl who defied all odds became a symbol of hope and survival. CNN senior medical correspondent Elizabeth Cohen shares the story of baby Jenny and the woman who helped save her life.
This baby, Jenny Alexis, was nearly dead. Her head and chest crushed. She was stuck in the rubble for 4 days without anything to drink. 2 months old, separated from her parents, all alone. Amazingly, someone found Jenny and brought her to a hospital, where pediatrician Karen Schneider fought to save her. She rushed her to Miami, but had little hope she'd survive. A year later, that baby, once on the brink of death, baby, is thriving. Today, she's perfectly healthy.
Love you, baby Jenny.
Talking, walking, just like any 14-month-old.
Yes, I say a miracle.
It's a miracle, Jenny's mother tells me. I want to thank the doctors and God. Nadine Devilmay has thanked God countless times over the year for saving Jenny's life, but she's never met Dr. Schneider to say thank you. Then last week, by chance, I got this email from Dr. Schneider wondering how Jenny was doing. We decided to go see her together in Miami.
You excited to see her?
Absolutely, because she's definitely one of the success stories.
Hello, I'm Dr. Karen.
Jenny is taking her afternoon nap when we arrive.
Gosh, she's so big.
Yeah.
I was so afraid she was going to die. But she did good.
Finally, a year later, Nadine has her chance. I always wanted to meet you, she says. For me, it's just a great thing to be able to say thank you to you.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. She's a miracle baby.
Yeah,
Because for almost 4 days she had no fluid and yet she survived. So I've always said God has a special plan for her.
Well, that is it for this special edition of Currents. Coming up tomorrow, we'll take a look at the continued persecution and attacks against Christians in the Middle East. In the meantime, though, we're always online over at currentsny.net. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Until next time, I'm Matt McClure. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.